I was always the family disappointment, the son who wasted time on computers instead of pursuing a respectable career. For years, my parents laughed at my online business dreams, dismissing them as childish fantasies, while they showered praise on my sister Samantha, their academic star, headed to medical school. I never expected my biggest business milestone would coincide with her graduation party, or that my quiet success would suddenly change everything they thought they knew about me. Before I tell you how I went from family joke to millionaire entrepreneur, drop a comment letting me know where you are watching from. If my story resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. You will want to hear what happened next. Growing up in suburban Minneapolis, I had a pretty standard middle-class upbringing with extremely traditional parents. My father, James, worked at the same manufacturing company for over 30 years, climbing from entry-level to middle management through sheer persistence and loyalty. My mother, Diana, a former elementary school teacher who became a full-time homemaker after I was born, valued stability above all else. They both believed in the proven path: good grades, 4-year degree, stable employment, with benefits, retirement at 65. From their perspective, stepping off this path was inviting disaster. I did try to follow their blueprint initially. I enrolled in the State University Business Program after high school, but by my second year, I knew conventional education was not for me. The professors were teaching outdated business models, while I was seeing digital entrepreneurs transform entire industries overnight. When I dropped out to pursue my own ventures, my parents reacted as if I had announced plans to join the circus. To them, online business was synonymous with scams and pipe dreams. Even as a kid, I had shown entrepreneurial tendencies. My lemonade stands evolved into lawn mowing services, then computer repair for neighbors. These ventures earned pocket money, but were always treated as cute hobbies by my family. "When are you going to get serious?" became their constant refrain, starting around my 15th birthday and continuing well into my 20s. Then there was Samantha, my younger sister by 2 years, and the undisputed golden child. Where I questioned authority, she respected it. Where I saw broken systems needing innovation, she excelled within established frameworks. Her straight-A record from kindergarten through high school was followed by a full scholarship to an elite university where she majored in biochemistry, with medical school always in her sights. Our family dynamics were painfully obvious during Sunday dinners, a non-negotiable tradition in our household. These weekly gatherings became showcases for Samantha's achievements. Her latest academic award, impressive exam score, or prestigious internship opportunity. My parents would beam with pride, serving her favorite dishes and hanging on her every word. When my turn came to share news, their enthusiasm visibly deflated. Any mention of my online projects was met with forced smiles and quick subject changes. "That is nice, Bobby. But have you thought about what your backup plan is?" my mother would inevitably ask, while my father checked his watch or became suddenly fascinated with his mashed potatoes. One childhood memory particularly stands out. When I was 12, I spent weeks building a computer from salvaged parts for the science fair, teaching myself through online forums and trial and error. Samantha, then 10, created a standard volcano project with significant parental assistance. My project won honorable mention from actual tech professionals judging the competition, while hers received a participation certificate. Yet my parents framed and displayed her certificate on the living room wall, while my award gathered dust in a drawer. The message was clear: her conventional achievements mattered. My unconventional ones did not. My business idea was born in the most unlikely place: the outdated fitness center at the college I eventually left. Working out in that cramped space with ancient equipment, I noticed how many students struggled with the bulky machines. Most lived in tiny apartments or dorms, where traditional exercise equipment was impossible to accommodate. That observation sparked something in my mind. I began researching the home fitness market and discovered a significant gap. Most equipment was designed for suburban homes, with dedicated workout spaces, not urban apartments with limited square footage. Meanwhile, millennials and Gen Z consumers were increasingly prioritizing fitness, but lacking space-friendly solutions. The available compact options were often flimsy, uncomfortable, or ineffective. Late into the night while my classmates partied or studied, I sketched designs for space-saving fitness equipment that could deliver gym-quality workouts in minimal space. My flagship concept was an innovative folding workout bench with adjustable resistance bands that could provide over 50 exercises, yet fold to the size of a large briefcase. When not in use, it could slide under a bed or stand upright in a closet. The moment everything clicked was when I helped my friend Marcus move into his 400-square-foot studio apartment. He was a fitness enthusiast, but had to sacrifice his beloved weight bench due to space constraints. Watching his disappointment as the movers took it away, I knew with absolute certainty there was a market need I could fill. I spent months researching manufacturing options, e-commerce platforms, and digital marketing strategies. By Christmas break, I had a solid business plan, preliminary supplier contacts in Taiwan, and mock-ups of my product. I was bursting with excitement when I arrived home for the holidays, eager to share my vision with my family. The perfect opportunity came during Christmas dinner. Samantha had just finished describing her upcoming research project to enthusiastic nods and proud smiles from our parents and extended family. When the conversation finally lulled, I took a deep breath and shared my business concept. For a moment, there was silence. Then my father let out a chuckle that felt like a slap. "People buy gym equipment from real stores, not websites," he said dismissively. "That industry is dominated by big companies with factories and distribution networks. How do you think you can compete with that from your laptop?" My mother placed her hand on mine, her expression a mixture of concern and pity. "Honey, what about that accounting internship Mr. Peterson mentioned? That could lead to a nice, stable position." I tried explaining e-commerce growth statistics and the advantages of direct-to-consumer models, but my words fell on deaf ears. Samantha offered her own helpful input. "Maybe you should finish your degree first, Bobby," she suggested in that condescending tone she had perfected. "Business theory would help you understand why startups are so risky. My economics professor says 90% fail in the first year." My father nodded emphatically. "Listen to your sister. She understands how the real world works." He took a sip of his wine before delivering the final blow. "You need to stop chasing fantasies and grow up. No one gets rich selling things on the internet." I stared at the twinkling Christmas lights adorning our dining room, silently vowing to prove them wrong. Later that night, as I passed my parents' bedroom, I overheard them praising Samantha's medical school applications and lamenting their concern about what would become of Bobby. That moment crystallized my determination to succeed, not just for financial independence, but for validation they never thought I deserved. The following month, I moved out of my parents' house and into the cheapest studio apartment I could find in a less than desirable neighborhood. The building had questionable heating and occasional cockroach visitors, but it was mine, a space where no one could diminish my dreams. To fund my business, I took a night shift warehouse job that left my days free for product development and website building. My first major investment was maxing out my credit card for manufacturing samples from a supplier I had never met in person. When the prototypes finally arrived after weeks of anxious waiting, I tore open the package with childlike excitement, only to discover critical design flaws. The folding mechanism jammed easily, and one of the support bars bent under moderate weight. I spent that night sitting on my apartment floor, surrounded by defective parts, fighting back tears of frustration. With my initial capital gone, I sold nearly all my furniture to fund a second prototype batch with design corrections. For 3 months, I slept on a thin camping mattress on the floor, ate ramen noodles for most meals, and showered at the gym to save on water bills. Every spare dollar went back into the business. Learning web development and digital marketing became another uphill battle. I could not afford professional services, so I taught myself through free online resources, often working until my eyes burned from screen fatigue. When the business finally launched, I faced an immediate customer service crisis when the first shipment went out with missing assembly hardware. I stayed up for 36 hours straight personally packaging replacement parts and writing apology emails. Throughout these struggles, the pressure from my family only intensified. My mother called weekly, her voice wavering between concern and disappointment. "I just worry about you, Bobby. Living in that neighborhood with no stability. Is this really what you want for your life?" My father took a more direct approach. "I could pull some strings and get you an entry-level position at the company," he offered during one particularly difficult month when sales were non-existent. Healthcare benefits from day one, and a clear promotion track. Why make things so hard on yourself? Every family gathering became an exercise in humiliation. At my 25th birthday dinner, my Uncle Gerald, a bank manager, grilled me about my little internet project while my cousins exchanged knowing glances. Before I could properly explain my business model, Samantha interrupted with her announcement of medical school acceptance, complete with partial scholarship. The conversation immediately pivoted to her achievement with champagne toasts and effusive congratulations. "To the future," Dr. Wilson, my father, proclaimed proudly, while my mother wiped away tears of joy. When I attempted to share news about a promising partnership with a fitness influencer later in the evening, my father cut me off mid-sentence to ask Samantha about her planned specialty. My business update remained unheard, deemed unimportant in comparison to my sister's conventional success. Even my small victories went unrecognized. When I mentioned making my first $1,000 in sales during Thanksgiving dinner, my father launched into a lecture about internet scams and the importance of reliable income. These fly-by-night operations never last. He insisted, helping himself to more turkey. "Remember your cousin Patrick. He has been at First National for 5 years now. Already has a 401k match and company car." To preserve my dignity and determination, I began hiding my financial struggles from my family. They never knew about the nights I went hungry to afford shipping costs, or the time my electricity was cut off for 3 days because I chose to pay my web hosting bill instead. In their minds, my continued pursuit of this business only confirmed my irresponsibility. 6 months in, I hit rock bottom. My primary manufacturing partner suddenly doubled their prices, claiming increased material costs. The same week, my website was hacked, taking it offline for 14 crucial days, during which potential customers found only an error message. By month's end, my bank account had dwindled to $87 with rent due the following week. Living on peanut butter sandwiches and instant noodles, I developed insomnia from the constant stress of potential failure. After a particularly brutal Sunday dinner where my father suggested I stop playing entrepreneur and get a real job like adults do, I returned to my dark apartment and seriously contemplated giving up. That night, sitting at my desk with unpaid bills scattered around me, I opened my laptop and hovered my cursor over the button that would take my website offline permanently. One click would end this chapter. I could apologize to my parents, accept my father's job offer, and rejoin the path of respectability they had always wanted for me. For a long moment, my finger rested on the trackpad, trembling with the weight of the decision. Instead, searching for any source of motivation, I logged into an entrepreneur forum I had joined months earlier but rarely visited. A post caught my attention. "When everyone tells you to quit, you are either crazy or onto something revolutionary. Figure out which one before you decide." I created a desperate post detailing my product concept and current challenges, expecting nothing. To my surprise, a user named Aaron, who had built and sold 3 successful e-commerce businesses, responded within hours. He requested a video call and spent 2 hours reviewing my product website and marketing approach. It was the first time anyone had taken my business seriously. "You have something special here," Aaron said, after asking pointed questions about my target demographic and manufacturing challenges. "But your marketing is all wrong. You are selling features when you should be selling transformation. Show apartment dwellers how your product fits into their lifestyle and solves their specific pain points." That conversation led to Aaron becoming an informal mentor, introducing me to his network and providing guidance that no business textbook could offer. Another forum member, impressed by the product concept, offered a small loan to help weather my immediate cash crisis. For the first time in months, I felt a renewed sense of purpose and possibility. Working through the night, fueled by instant coffee and genuine excitement, I completely revamped my marketing approach and product positioning. As dawn broke over the city skyline visible from my tiny window, I felt something I had almost forgotten: hope. Following Aaron's advice, I shifted my entire business strategy. Instead of focusing on the technical specifications of my equipment, I redesigned my website to showcase the transformation it offered, from cramped apartment to personal fitness studio in 60 seconds. I created educational content about effective workouts in limited spaces and positioned myself as an expert in urban fitness solutions. The first breakthrough came when Ryan Miller, a fitness influencer with 70,000 followers, agreed to review my product in exchange for a free unit. His video demonstrating how the bench fit perfectly in his New York studio apartment generated my first sales spike: 27 orders in a single day, more than I typically saw in 2 weeks. As orders increased, I hired a virtual assistant in the Philippines to handle customer service emails, allowing me to focus on product improvement and marketing. Based on early customer feedback, I made several key design enhancements and expanded the product line to include complementary accessories, specialized resistance bands, a digital workout guide, and space-efficient storage solutions. The business grew steadily. Within 4 months, sales increased from 2 to 3 units weekly to consistently moving 25 or more. I upgraded from my apartment operations to a small warehouse space where I could efficiently manage inventory and fulfillment. The day I crossed $10,000 in monthly revenue, I celebrated by ordering takeout from the fancy Thai restaurant I had walked past for months, but could never afford. Despite this progress, my family remained unimpressed. During Easter dinner, I excitedly shared that my business had generated over $15,000 in the previous month. My mother nodded politely before changing the subject, while my father openly scoffed. "Internet money is not the same as real business revenue," he declared, as if explaining something to a child. "These online trends are temporary." "What happens when people lose interest in your gadget?" Samantha chimed in with her unique brand of condescension. "It is great you are making some money, Bobby, but medicine is forever. People will always need doctors." She then launched into a detailed description of her prestigious rotation, with Dr. Friedman apparently a legendary figure in cardiology. The conversation quickly shifted to Samantha's accomplishments, my modest business success immediately forgotten. Later that week, I discovered my parents had invested in an expensive personalized stethoscope for Samantha's upcoming white coat ceremony. My birthday the previous month had been acknowledged with a generic card containing a newspaper clipping about career opportunities for those without degrees. Most hurtful was a conversation I overheard between my father and his brother. "Bobby is still playing shop on the computer," he said, with a dismissive wave. "At least Samantha is doing something meaningful with her life." Despite their continued skepticism, the business accelerated beyond my wildest expectations. A popular fitness magazine featured my bench in their innovative gear section, praising its ingenious design perfect for urban fitness enthusiasts. This led to a partnership with FitLife, a YouTube fitness channel with over 2 million subscribers who integrated my equipment into their apartment-friendly workout series. International orders began arriving from Canada, the UK, and Australia, forcing me to quickly learn about export regulations and international shipping logistics. To keep up with demand, I hired 2 full-time employees to manage fulfillment and expanded into a larger warehouse facility. The operation that had once fit in my tiny apartment now occupied 2,000 square feet of commercial space. Most surprising was an email from Timothy Branson, a venture capitalist who specialized in fitness industry investments. "Your solution to urban fitness challenges has significant scaling potential," he wrote. "I would like to discuss possible investment opportunities." After our initial meeting, he expressed interest in providing capital for expanded manufacturing and marketing in exchange for a minority stake. Revenue climbed steadily: 50,000, then 75,000, and finally breaking $100,000 monthly. The business that my parents had laughed at was now generating more annual revenue than my father's management salary. The warehouse team expanded to 7 employees, and my innovative designs had secured 2 patents with a third pending. In the midst of this success came an embossed invitation to Samantha's medical school graduation celebration. My mother called the next day to emphasize the importance of the event. Many influential people will be there, she explained, her voice carrying that familiar note of warning. Dr. Friedman and the hospital board members. Please dress professionally, Bobby, and try to be positive about your situation. The subtle implication was clear. Do not embarrass the family by talking about your silly internet business. Though the invitation stung, I decided to attend. Not to seek approval, but to honor the complicated relationship that defined our family. By this point, my company was approaching $1 million in annual revenue, a milestone I had once thought impossible. I prepared for the event, carefully ordering a custom suit from Marcus Designs, a menswear company whose founder had become a customer and advocate for my products. As I adjusted my tie in the mirror before leaving, I made a promise to myself. I would maintain my dignity regardless of how my family treated me. Success would be my silent statement. The week before Samantha's graduation party, my business crossed a threshold I had only dreamed about. HealthQuest, a national retail chain specializing in fitness equipment, placed a wholesale order worth just over $200,000 after months of negotiations. This single deal pushed my company's annual revenue past $1.2 million. My financial advisor confirmed what I had suspected for some time. Between my company's valuation and personal assets, I was now technically a millionaire. The achievement felt surreal, especially when I received a call the same day from Entrepreneur Monthly, requesting an interview for their Disruptors Under 30 feature. The reporter wanted to profile how my innovative approach to urban fitness solutions had captured a neglected market segment. I called Aaron that evening to share the news, remembering how his guidance had come at my lowest moment. I always knew you had the right combination of persistence and vision, he said. Most people would have quit after those first prototypes failed. You just kept solving problems. As I prepared for Samantha's graduation celebration, I faced an unexpected dilemma. Should I arrive in the luxury car I could now afford making a statement, or choose something more modest to avoid appearing ostentatious? I ultimately decided on authenticity over showmanship. My success did not need flashy demonstrations. To be real, my parents had transformed their suburban backyard into a Pinterest-worthy reception space for the occasion. White tents, catered food stations, and professional floral arrangements created an atmosphere more suited to a wedding than a graduation party. A large banner proclaimed, "Congratulations, Doctor." Samantha Wilson, in elegant script, prominently displayed for all to see. The awkwardness began immediately upon arrival. Distant relatives greeted me with the forced politeness reserved for family disappointments. "Bobby, good to see you. Still doing that online thing?" My Aunt Margaret asked, not waiting for an answer before complimenting a passing guest's dress. Moving through clusters of guests, I overheard whispered comments about Samantha's underachiever brother and such different paths those two took. My father introduced me to his business colleagues with visible discomfort, quickly steering conversations away from any mention of my work. "Bobby is exploring his options right now," he explained to his company's vice president, conveniently omitting my successful business. My mother was equally evasive when family friends inquired about my career. "He sells fitness equipment," she would say, vaguely, before enthusiastically changing the subject to Samantha's residency plans. The Golden Child herself made a grand entrance an hour into the party, wearing her graduation regalia despite the event being held 2 weeks after the actual ceremony. Guests applauded while my father called for attention and raised his glass. "Today we celebrate not just an academic achievement, but the beginning of a meaningful career dedicated to saving lives," he announced proudly. "Samantha has shown what hard work, dedication, and choosing the right path can accomplish." His eyes briefly flicked in my direction, the implied comparison unmistakable. A table near the entrance displayed Samantha's impressive collection of graduation gifts, a luxury watch from my parents, monogrammed medical equipment, and an envelope I later learned contained a down payment for a condominium near the hospital where she would begin her residency. The revelation moment came unexpectedly. I had stepped away from the crowd to take a business call when my phone rang loudly. Jackson Cooper, my business partner, handling wholesale relationships, was calling with urgent news. Bobby Forbes wants to interview you for their 30 under 30 list. They need to schedule it next week. Before their deadline, he announced excitedly. I had accidentally answered on speaker and several nearby guests turned at the mention of Forbes. Before I could switch to the handset, Jackson continued. Also, HealthFit just confirmed they want to increase their order by 50%. This puts us on track for $1.5 million this year. The valuation report came back estimating company worth between $4 and $5 million if we wanted to entertain investors. A ripple of whispers spread through the gathering as I quickly ended the call. Mr. Harrington, my father's colleague, and a senior executive at his manufacturing company, approached immediately. Did I just hear correctly? Are you the founder of Fold Fit Equipment? He asked. Eyes widened in recognition. My wife bought your adjustable bench last Christmas. She talks about it constantly. Best equipment purchase we have ever made. Before I could respond, Dr. Rodriguez, a prominent neurologist and Samantha's mentor, joined the conversation. Wait, that was your company in Men's Health last month. My entire department ordered your equipment for our call room after reading that review. Brilliant design. The whispers grew louder as more guests connected the dots. My mother, noticing the commotion, hurried over with a confused expression that transformed into shock as she overheard the enthusiastic business discussion now surrounding me. My father pushed through the crowd, his face a mixture of disbelief and dawning realization. Samantha stood frozen mid-sentence with her former classmates, watching her carefully orchestrated spotlight shift unexpectedly. Your son is quite the entrepreneur, Mr. Harrington told my father, clapping him on the shoulder. You must be incredibly proud of what he has built. My father's mouth opened and closed without producing words. Finally, he managed a weak smile. Of course, we have always believed in Bobby's creative approach to business. This blatant revision of history might have angered me once, but now it simply felt hollow. My mother, ever the social navigator, quickly adapted to the new reality. Bobby has always had an entrepreneurial spirit, she announced to anyone listening. We encouraged him to follow his passion for innovation. She looped her arm through mine as if we had always been the closest of allies. Samantha approached with a tight smile. Congratulations on your success, Bobby, she said coolly. I had no idea things had taken off so well. The jealousy in her eyes was unmistakable. For once she was not the center of attention at her own celebration. I acknowledged her words with a polite nod, maintaining the dignity I had promised myself. Your accomplishment is impressive too, Samantha. Becoming a doctor is no small feat. As the party continued, I found myself surrounded by guests eager to discuss business strategies and entrepreneurial insights, the very conversations my family had dismissed for years. My father eventually pulled me aside, his expression uncomfortably contrite. I may have been too quick to judge your business model, he admitted awkwardly. It seems you understood something about the market that I did not see. Rather than indulge in the vindication I had once craved, I simply thanked him for hosting the party and excused myself. After years of seeking their approval, I realized it no longer defined my worth. I declined to participate in the family photos Samantha had planned, choosing instead to leave early after congratulating her properly. Before departing, I discreetly left my luxury business card with my parents' financial advisor, who had approached me privately about investment opportunities. The embossed card, with its minimalist design and seven-figure company valuation, would speak volumes without me needing to say a word. In the weeks following Samantha's graduation party, I had time to process the emotional whirlwind of that day. The business continued its upward trajectory, with international expansion accelerating beyond projections. We secured office space in a prestigious downtown building, ironically in the same complex where my father had once suggested I apply for an entry-level position. My parents made awkward attempts at reconciliation. My father called to discuss potential synergies between my company and his manufacturing connections. My mother sent links to news articles about successful e-commerce businesses with notes saying, "This reminded me of you." Their sudden interest in my career felt both validating and hollow simultaneously. Even Samantha reached out, her medical authority temporarily set aside. I was thinking about diversifying some of my signing bonus, she texted. Would you have time to share some investment advice? The sister who once lectured me about business theory was now seeking my financial guidance. These developments forced me to confront difficult questions about forgiveness versus boundaries. Did their validation matter now that I had proven myself? Was I obligated to welcome them into my success after years of dismissal? Through reflection, I realized that holding on to resentment would only limit my own growth. I could acknowledge the pain of the past while choosing not to be defined by it. I launched the Urban Entrepreneur Foundation, with a portion of my profits providing mentorship and seed funding to young innovators from disadvantaged backgrounds. My first mentee was Derek, a college dropout with a brilliant concept for sustainable packaging but no business connections. Watching his idea evolve from concept to viable product brought a fulfillment that surpassed any revenue milestone. Healing with my family came gradually through small moments of genuine connection. My father and I had a lengthy conversation about generational differences in business perspectives. I was taught that stability meant security, he explained. The internet economy seemed so intangible to me. I worried you would have nothing to fall back on. For the first time, I could see his dismissal as misguided protection rather than lack of faith. My mother began asking thoughtful questions about my business model, genuinely trying to understand digital marketing concepts that once seemed foreign to her. Thanksgiving dinner that year marked a noticeable shift. My business accomplishments received equal billing with Samantha's medical achievements. The conversation flowed naturally between her patient care stories and my product innovation challenges. My parents appeared genuinely interested in both our journeys, no longer elevating one path above the other. The most significant moment came when my father attended the launch event for my newest product line. Watching him proudly introduce himself as Bobby's dad to industry influencers and investors healed a wound I had carried for years. After the presentations, he pulled me aside, his eyes uncharacteristically misty. I was wrong, son, he said simply. You saw the future when I was still stuck in the past. I am sorry it took me so long to understand what you were building. Through this journey, I discovered that success is not measured by proving critics wrong, but by creating something meaningful regardless of their opinions. True validation comes from impact, not dollars. My parents' limitations were not personal rejections, but reflections of their own fears and understanding of the world. I now realize that family relationships like entrepreneurship require investment patience and the willingness to grow beyond comfortable patterns. The business skills that helped me overcome manufacturing challenges and market resistance, persistence, adaptability, problem solving, served equally well in rebuilding family bridges. My company recently surpassed $2 million in annual revenue with distribution partnerships in 14 countries. The tiny apartment operation now occupies an entire floor of commercial space with 23 employees. More meaningful than these metrics is the community we have built. Over 100,000 customers who have transformed their living spaces into functional fitness environments. At our latest product launch, I looked out at the audience and saw my entire family in the front row genuinely cheering as I presented our vision for the future. Samantha, now in her residency, has found her authentic calling in medicine, while I have found mine in entrepreneurship. Our paths differ, but neither stands above the other. Have you ever had to prove yourself to people who doubted your dreams? I would love to hear your stories in the comments below. If this journey of persistence inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more stories about overcoming obstacles and finding success against the odds. Remember that sometimes the people closest to us are the hardest to convince, but your vision does not require external validation to be worthy of pursuit. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that their unconventional path might be exactly where they need to be. Thank you for listening, and never stop building your future even when others cannot see it yet.